Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're stepping right into a breathtaking, deeply mystical, and honestly, pretty heartbreaking tale drawn directly from sections 8 through 12 of the Mahabharata. This isn't just an ancient story. It's a massive, sweeping epic about love, profound grief, and the intense, cosmic consequences of human anger. Let's get right into it. I want you to think about this for a second. If fate suddenly stole away the person most precious to you in the entire world, what lengths would you actually go to? What price would you be willing to pay to reverse death itself? Well, this exact question is the unthinkable cosmic bargain our protagonist is about to face. Our story, picking up right in Section 8, starts by tracing a pretty incredible bloodline, one just radiating with resplendent energy. It goes all the way back to the great sage Chaivana of the Bhrigu race. Now, Chaivana begets the illustrious Pramati, and Pramati, in turn, has a son with the celestial Gritachi. That son is a man of abundant energy named Ruru, and he is the hero of our journey today. But while Ruru is growing up, there's a whole other incredible origin story unfolding at the exact same time. The Gandharva king Viswavasu and the celestial Apsara Menaka have a child together. But Menaka, completely lacking pity, just abandons this blazing, beautiful newborn baby girl on a lonely riverbank. I know, it's wild. But thankfully, the compassionate and highly ascetic Rishi Stulakesa discovers her. He takes the baby in, raises her with all the proper secret ceremonies, and gives her the name Pramadvara. Why? Because she literally surpasses absolutely everyone in her goodness, her beauty, and her sheer character. It's this miraculous, against all odds beginning first soul destined for so much more. So, as you might guess, when the pious Ruru eventually lays eyes on Pramadvara in the hermitage, well, his heart is instantly pierced by the god of love. He is completely captivated, hook, line, and sinker. He rushes to tell his friends tell his father Pramati, and Pramati formally requests her hand from her foster father Stulakesa. And just like that, they're joyfully betrothed. The two fathers eagerly arrange the marriage, picking this incredibly holy day when the auspicious star Vargadayavata is ascendant. Everything seems perfectly, wonderfully aligned for their future. But then, just days, literally mere days before the wedding, horrific tragedy strikes. The beautiful Virgin Pramadvara is just playfully running around with her friends, but impelled by fate, she completely misses a hidden coiled serpent in her path. She steps right on it, and the reptile violently darts its envenomed fangs into her. She drops down, instantly senseless. The text paints this incredibly poignant picture. Lying there on the ground, her color faded, she becomes the spectacle of pure woe to her friends. And yet, the poison somehow makes her look even more beautiful in death, almost as if she's just peacefully sleeping there with the splendor of a lotus. It is absolutely devastating. The greatest Brahmanas of the forest gather around her lifeless body, just weeping in profound compassion. But Ruru cannot bear it. Mortified beyond measure, he retreats completely alone into a deep, dark wood. Overwhelmed with grief, he cries out this heartbreaking plea to the heavens. He says if he has ever done anything good, if he's ever controlled his passions, kept his vows, or been charitable, let the sheer merit of those righteous acts restore his beloved back to life. And amazingly, someone listens. A celestial messenger suddenly appears in the forest, bringing a massive revelation detailed in Section 9. The messenger basically says that mortal crying is totally ineffectual, but the gods have provided a loophole. Ruru must trade a literal moiety, exactly half, of his own remaining lifespan to bring her back. And Ruru, he doesn't hesitate for a single second. The king of Gandharvas and the messenger immediately rush to Dharmaraja, the judge of the dead. The deal is struck, the price is paid, and Pramadvara rises up as if she's just waking from a deep slumber. They do finally get married on an auspicious day, and they live completely devoted to one another. But here's the catch. That trauma, it leaves a deep, malignant scar. Think about it. He literally lost half his life and watched his beloved die from snake venom. Ruru's heart hardens completely. He takes this dark, wrathful, borderline obsessive vow to absolutely destroy the entire serpent race. From that day on, whenever he sees a serpent, and I mean any serpent at all, he is consumed by blinding anger and mercilessly beats it to death with whatever weapon he has. This path of indiscriminate vengeance brings us right into Section 10. One day, deep in an extensive forest, Ruru spots an old snake lying on the ground. It's a Dundubha species. Naturally, Ruru raises his staff of death, ready to strike it down. But then, the unthinkable happens. The snake actually speaks. It begs for mercy and explains its true nature. It tells him, "Look, I am a Dundubha." See, this type of snake shares the physical form and all the miseries of venomous snakes, but possesses absolutely none of their danger. It pleads with Ruru, saying, "I've done thee no harm. I shouldn't be slain under a misconception." Well, Ruru is absolutely stunned. Hearing such profound wisdom and rationality coming from a fearful creature, he immediately stops and lowers his staff. Recognizing that this is clearly no ordinary reptile, Ruru, being a possessor of the 6 attributes himself, decides to spare it. He looks down at this bewildered talking snake and basically asks, "Who are you, really, to be metamorphosed like this?" And the Dundubha reveals a pretty incredible secret. He is not actually a snake by nature at all. He was formerly a human, a highly revered rishi named Sahasrapat. He explains that he's only trapped in this scaly reptilian form because of a terrible curse from an angered Brahmana. Naturally, Ruru is fascinated by this. I mean, wouldn't you be? He immediately asks how such a terrible curse came to be cast upon a holy man in the first place. The answer to that question, which we find in section 11, is a classic, age-old cautionary tale about a prank gone horribly, horribly wrong. Sahasrapat explains that he had this friend named Kagama, who was a strict, vow-observing ascetic with immense spiritual power. One day, while Kagama was deeply engaged in an Agnihotra, a sacred fire sacrifice, Sahasrapat thought it would be pretty funny to scare him. So he crafts this fake mock snake out of blades of grass and throws it right at his friend. The shock was so intense that Kagama fell into a dead swoon. When Kagamata finally recovered his senses, he was absolutely burning with wrath. He looked dead at his friend and cast this devastating curse. He said because Sahasrapat used a powerless mock snake to frighten him, he was doomed to become a powerless, venomless serpent himself. Sahasrapat desperately begged for forgiveness, pleading that it was just a joke to get a laugh. The ascetic did soften slightly, but the curse had already been spoken. Kagamata decreed it could only be broken when Sahasrapat laid eyes on the pure son of Pramati, which, as we know, is Ruru. And wow, destiny has officially arrived. Because Sahasrapat has finally encountered Ruru, the strict conditions of the curse are instantly met. Right there, in a flash, the illustrious best of Brahmanas sheds his scaly snake body and attains his original, radiant human form right in front of Ruru's eyes. It is this moment of incredible liberation, a truly triumphant and beautiful spiritual payoff. Restored to his true form, the sage Sahasrapat doesn't just leave. He imparts a really vital lesson to Ruru. He explains that Ruru's violent vow to destroy all snakes actually belongs to the wrong caste entirely. You see, it's the duty of a kshatriya, warrior, to be stern and wield the scepter of punishment. But Ruru is a Brahmana. And a Brahmana's paramount duty is to spare life, to always be mild, to be forgiving, and to retain the Vedas in his memory. Essentially, Ruru's blind rage was a total betrayal of his own sacred nature. So, just before Sahasrapat vanishes into thin air, he drops one final, incredibly tantalizing piece of information. He tells Ruru to seek out the ancient account of a massive destruction of snakes that took place at the great sacrifice of King Janamejaya. And he hints at how those terrified reptiles were miraculously delivered by a wise and profoundly powerful man named Astika. As we move into section 12, Ruru is left just completely stunned. He runs through the woods searching for the vanished rishi, eventually just collapsing on the ground from sheer exhaustion. Deprived of his senses, his mind is totally consumed by this single, burning mystery. Why in the world was King Janamejaya so bent on destroying all the serpents? And how exactly did Astika manage to save them? Once he recovers, Ruru rushes straight home and begs his father, Pramati, to tell him this entire history. And you know, that is exactly where our story pauses today. The mystery has truly only just begun. Now, a quick note for you. This series presents the Parvas of the Mahabharata in their original sequence, without altering the core narrative, to make the story easier to understand. Join us in the next video as we explore section 13 and finally uncover the truth behind King Janamajaya's great serpent sacrifice. You absolutely will not want to miss it.